Why wait for circumstances to improve when it would be far wiser to nurture your own inner garden before attempting to change the world around you? If you wish to be the change, then directing your focus inward is essential for bringing the unimaginable into your life. In this video, we've compiled a collection of wise insights and quotes that will resonate with you and help you achieve goals that once seemed beyond reach. These words are intended to comfort the soul and remind you that difficult times are temporary and that your inner strength is always there, waiting to be awakened. Let these powerful words fill your heart and mind, nourishing your spirit. Together, we can transform darkness into light and discover the resilience to keep moving forward. The first concept we'll explore is the art of ataraxia. Let's dive into the intriguing world of ataraxia, that state of tranquility and peace, even amidst life's many ups and downs. Imagine yourself sailing through turbulent waters with towering waves, howling winds, and a sky painted in ominous shades. Yet, despite the chaos, you remain still, your gaze fixed on the horizon, appearing calmer than the storm itself. This image perfectly illustrates the essence of ataraxia, a Stoic principle I encourage you to understand and incorporate into your everyday life. To begin, let's consider the immense value of maintaining inner peace at all times. Just like the sea, life throws unexpected challenges our way. Workplace struggles, personal conflicts, and sudden illnesses. These obstacles are the waves seeking to unsteady us. Ignoring these issues isn't the solution. Instead, true calmness is found by confronting them with a clear mind and a composed heart. As Marcus Aurelius wisely stated, perfect tranquility consists in the good ordering of the mind within your own kingdom. Every challenge presents an opportunity to refine your ability to remain calm and centered. So, how can we handle difficulties with clarity and composure? Preparation and a broad perspective play crucial roles. Personally, I integrate meditation and reflection into my morning routine. I take a moment to envision myself navigating the day's challenges with serenity. By consistently practicing this, I cultivate mental resilience, which prevents impulsive reactions and helps me maintain my calm in difficult situations. Today, let's discuss techniques for achieving inner peace. One particularly effective practice is mindfulness. By staying present in the moment, you can eliminate worries about the future and regrets about the past. Another powerful strategy is positive self-talk. When I encounter an obstacle, I remind myself, this too shall pass, and I am capable of handling it. The way you speak to yourself has a significant impact on maintaining calmness. Additionally, consider how achieving ataraxia can enhance your ability to make sound decisions. When you are calm, your mind functions at its peak because it isn't clouded by intense emotions. A calm state allows you to make decisions that are not only well thought out, but also more aligned with your values and long-term objectives. Have you ever noticed that when we're under stress, our decisions tend to be more reactive rather than proactive? This is where ataraxia becomes essential. Here are some practical exercises to help you cultivate ataraxia in everyday life. One of my favorite techniques is visualizing negative scenarios. I frequently take time to consider the worst possible outcomes and how I would handle them. This practice not only prepares me for unexpected challenges, but also deepens my appreciation for what I have in the present. Additionally, I recommend keeping a gratitude journal. Every night, I reflect on 3 things I'm grateful for. This simple habit fosters a positive mindset and brings profound inner peace. By integrating these practices into your daily routine, you'll gradually move closer to a state of tranquility and resilience. Remember, ataraxia is not a final destination, but an ongoing journey. Epictetus once said, "Do not seek for things to happen the way you want them to. Rather, wish for them to happen as they do, and you will find serenity." Learning to embrace this mindset is the essence of ataraxia. Another key aspect of ataraxia is maintaining control over your will. Imagine facing a problem that seems impossible to resolve, with limited resources and time running out. Every attempt to move forward seems to bring you back to where you started. This is the ultimate test, not just of your skills, but of your willpower. From my experience, mastering willpower is not only a crucial element of success, but also the foundation for overcoming adversity and transforming challenges into opportunities. Stoic resilience, or the ability to persevere through hardships, is cultivated through deliberate training of the will. As Cicero wisely noted, the difficulty of a task is not determined by the effort it requires, but by the will invested in it. I recall a time at work when everything seemed on the verge of failure. It felt as if my project was going nowhere, and giving up seemed like a tempting option. However, in that moment, I made a conscious decision to strengthen my will, viewing every obstacle as an opportunity for growth and pushing forward with renewed determination. In response to your question, I decided to train and enhance my skills in areas that had always intrigued me, but I had never found the time to explore. This not only increased my employability, but also provided me with a renewed sense of purpose. One of the most difficult challenges is finding strength in uncertain times. This is where practices like meditation and deep reflection can be incredibly beneficial. Each morning, meditation allows me to focus on what I am grateful for and acknowledge my strengths. This habit has helped me remain calm and positive, even when the future is uncertain. Adapting and learning to accept challenges is a gradual process that takes time and cannot be mastered overnight. One method I find particularly useful is journaling. Every evening, I write down the difficulties I encountered throughout the day and how I responded to them. This practice not only allows me to reflect on my progress, but also highlights areas that need improvement. As you work on fostering resilience and acceptance, you will experience numerous ups and downs. However, with Stoic wisdom and a commitment to personal growth, we can navigate any storm with grace and strength. Remember the words of Marcus Aurelius: "Our life is what our thoughts make it." Use your mind to your advantage, and you will be able to overcome any challenge. Now, let's talk about being present. Take a moment to imagine yourself walking through a park. You look up at the vast blue sky filled with fluffy white clouds and admire the vibrant green trees around you. As you take deep breaths, you feel the crisp, clean air filling your lungs. This simple yet profound moment captures what it truly means to live in the present and embrace life as it unfolds. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once advised, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." This wisdom aligns perfectly with the practice of mindfulness, the ability to be fully present without allowing your mind to drift toward worries about the future or regrets from the past. Experiencing this sense of freedom is deeply fulfilling, but how do we achieve it? First, we must acknowledge that our minds frequently wander, creating future scenarios that rarely come true or dwelling on past events we cannot change. Not only does this cause unnecessary stress, but it also prevents us from fully appreciating the present moment. In such instances, mindfulness proves to be a powerful ally. Being present requires a conscious shift in perspective. It is an ongoing practice, much like training a muscle that has long been used. For instance, as I write these words, I focus on the sensation of the keys beneath my fingers and the soft, rhythmic sound of my breath. I allow myself to become fully absorbed in the act of writing these words. This kind of mindfulness can be applied to every aspect of life. Do you truly savor each bite of your food, or are you too distracted by the television? When engaged in conversation, are you fully listening, or are you preoccupied with formulating your response? These simple yet profound habits train us to remain present in the moment repeatedly. A useful exercise to practice is mindful observation. Choose something within your view, a plant, a book, or even your hand. Spend a minute observing every detail, from its color and texture to the way light moves across its surface. You'll find that this small act can clear your mind and anchor you in the present. Another effective technique is breathing meditation. Close your eyes and focus solely on your breath, feeling the air move in and out of your lungs. If your mind drifts, gently redirect it back to your breath. This practice not only strengthens your ability to stay present, but also helps calm your thoughts. The secret to lasting happiness lies in this very presence. Being mindful liberates us from regret and anxiety, allowing us to fully experience life, appreciate each moment, and find contentment in what is, rather than dwelling on what could have been or fearing what is yet to come. So, I encourage you to embrace mindfulness, not just as another task to complete, but as a lens through which to view life with greater appreciation and gratitude. Remember, staying present is a daily choice that requires practice and commitment. Are you ready to embark on this journey? Mindfulness is available to you right now, in this very moment. Using virtue as a guide, many of us seek a guiding principle to help navigate life's decisions and ensure that each step we take brings us closer to personal growth and fulfillment. Have you ever wished for a clear direction, a way to know that your choices align with your best self? Inspired by Stoic philosophy, I'd like to share a perspective on a potential path, one illuminated by virtue. Imagine yourself standing in the middle of a dense forest, unsure of which way to go. This uncertainty can be overwhelming, but virtue serves as a guiding light, not leading to the easiest path, but to the right one. Upholding our values is not always simple, especially when daily pressures tempt us to stray from our ideals. Yet, as Seneca wisely noted, one does not enjoy a full life without challenges. Now, let's examine the Stoic virtues: temperance, wisdom, courage, and justice. These are not just admirable qualities. They are practical tools that help us navigate life's challenges and stay true to our principles. Wisdom serves as a guiding light, uncovering solutions where others see only obstacles. It is the application of knowledge that allows you to choose words that heal and build rather than harm in the heat of an argument. Courage, on the other hand, is the ability to stand firm when things go wrong or fear creeps in. It is not fear itself that makes you strong, but rather your decision to act in spite of it. Imagine having to face one of your greatest fears, such as speaking in public. True bravery is what pushes you to step onto that stage, share your thoughts, and leave a lasting impression on the audience. Justice calls for putting others before oneself. In a world where selfishness often seems to be rewarded, acting justly means choosing fairness over personal gain. Consider times when you assisted a colleague simply because it was the right thing to do, not because you expected anything in return. In a society where instant gratification is the norm, temperance, or the ability to regulate our desires, may be one of the most challenging virtues to cultivate. Have you ever felt a sense of fulfillment after resisting a short-term pleasure because you knew it would lead to a greater reward in the future? That, in essence, is what temperance represents. Embracing these virtues not only leads to a more ethical and honorable life, but also brings deeper meaning and fulfillment. When we make decisions rooted in virtue, we become stronger individuals and experience greater happiness. Just as Emperor Marcus Aurelius ruled with justice and wisdom, and Nelson Mandela demonstrated unwavering courage and dedication to justice, their examples inspire us to follow suit. When faced with a choice, ask yourself what the wisest, bravest, fairest, and most self-disciplined person would do. By allowing virtue to guide your way, you will realize that while the path may not always be easy, it is undoubtedly the one that leads to true fulfillment and purpose. As a reminder from Marcus Aurelius, the best revenge is to be unlike your enemy. Learning about yourself. Now, let me share a story that illustrates how a student of Stoicism embarks on the journey of self-discovery. This personal quest begins with a simple yet profound realization. Knowing oneself is the foundation of all personal growth and wisdom. The ancient Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "Know thyself, and do not be concerned with what others think of you." I recall the moment I first read those words. At the time, I was grappling with self-doubt and uncertainty, searching for answers in all the wrong places. That phrase stayed with me. prompting deep reflection on who I truly was and what I wanted from life. Stoic philosophy, which emphasizes self-awareness, taught me how to build a solid foundation upon which to stand, one that allowed me to remain balanced and strong in the face of adversity. I came to understand that before I could achieve resilience, I first needed to recognize both my strengths and my weaknesses. Have you ever been completely honest with yourself about your shortcomings? This kind of introspection is essential for every Stoic. Over time, I developed methods to deepen my self-understanding. One of the most effective practices was daily meditation, which provided me with time for reflection. Another invaluable tool was maintaining a personal journal where I recorded not only my thoughts and experiences, but also my emotional responses to them. I encourage you to explore these practices. You might be surprised by the insights they bring and the clarity they provide regarding your motivations. As I gained a clearer understanding of myself, I found that my decisions became more intentional and mature. Each choice I made was grounded in my values rather than influenced by external expectations. This newfound clarity freed me from societal pressures, allowing me to pursue my goals with authenticity. Imagine the sense of liberation that comes from making choices that truly align with your core identity. One of the most valuable exercises I discovered for cultivating self-awareness was deep questioning. Whenever I found myself in a conflict, I resisted the urge to react impulsively. Instead, I would pause and ask myself, what part of this situation is genuinely important for my growth? Am I acting in accordance with my Stoic principles, or am I being swayed by fleeting emotions? This practice enabled me to identify my true motivations and ensure that my actions aligned with them. With each step in my journey of self-exploration, I viewed every decision as an opportunity to strengthen my character and draw closer to Stoic virtue. I encourage you to embark on your own path of self-discovery. It will not always be easy, and at times, confronting your true self may feel overwhelming. However, remember the words of Marcus Aurelius. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. The more you examine yourself, the clearer your path will become. Train your mind, cultivate self-awareness, and allow yourself to live with greater honesty and consciousness. Are you ready to take the first step? Your journey to self-discovery may lead to a transformation as profound as the one I experienced. Mastering emotional control. Imagine yourself in a challenging situation where everything seems to be conspiring against you. Your heart pounds, tension builds, and emotions threaten to overwhelm you. Right now, you have the chance to demonstrate one of the most essential Stoic principles, emotional control. Let me share how I learned to remain calm in difficult moments. A few years ago, I faced a significant personal crisis. My emotions surged like waves crashing against a rocky cliff, threatening to consume me. But then, I recalled a quote from Marcus Aurelius' Meditations that became my anchor. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That simple yet profound statement became my mantra during those tough times. I began practicing a Stoic technique known as premeditatio malorum, the exercise of mentally preparing for potential challenges before they arise. Each morning, I would take a few moments to anticipate possible difficulties and envision how I could respond to them calmly and rationally. This practice strengthened my mental resilience, allowing me to maintain emotional control when obstacles inevitably appeared. By integrating these techniques into daily life, I found that I no longer reacted impulsively to negative situations. Instead, I approached them with composure and a clear mind. When you face adversity, remind yourself that your power lies not in controlling external events, but in mastering your response to them. Emotional control is not about suppressing feelings. It is about directing them in a way that serves you rather than controls you. Through discipline, reflection, and a commitment to self-improvement, you too can develop the ability to remain steady in the face of turmoil. Remember, the storm will pass, but the strength you build in mastering your emotions will stay with you forever. I also gained a lot from practicing emotional distancing, which the Stoics refer to as objectification. Instead of saying, I am angry, I altered my perspective and began saying, there is anger present. This small adjustment in thinking helped me remember that emotions are fleeting and do not define me. I started viewing my emotions as passing clouds in the sky of my mind, allowing me to observe them without being controlled by them. This approach prevented me from acting on impulse and giving in to my emotions. When we are overwhelmed by emotions, it is easy to lose sight of our values and behave in ways we may later regret. This is where Stoic wisdom proves invaluable. The Stoics teach that our real strength lies in choosing how we respond to any given situation. While we cannot control the events that happen to us, we always have power over how we react. To remain composed, Stoics use a fundamental practice, returning to the present moment. Whenever I find myself caught in a heated argument, I take a moment to pause and focus on my breath. I direct my attention to each inhale and exhale, feeling myself become more centered and grounded in the now. This simple yet effective technique enables me to respond rationally rather than emotionally. These methods are not only useful in high-stress moments, but can also be applied daily to cultivate inner peace and resilience. They not only help us find balance within ourselves, but also allow us to be a calming presence for those around us. Remember, as Seneca once said, the greatest part of progress is the desire to progress. Try incorporating these Stoic habits into your daily routine and observe how they enhance your ability to manage emotions and make wise decisions in challenging situations. The power of gratitude. Imagine waking up each day with your first thought being one of deep gratitude, not just a surface-level appreciation for your possessions, but a genuine acknowledgement of life itself. The simple act of breathing, the opportunities that come with each new day, and the countless small blessings we often overlook. I speak directly to you because I want you to see gratitude not as a mundane task, but as an exciting journey toward personal fulfillment. During a time in my life when everything seemed meaningless, I discovered the power of gratitude. Each day felt like a repetitive cycle of negativity and frustration. Then, I came across a quote from the Stoic philosopher Epictetus. Only when we appreciate what we have can we truly be free. This simple statement profoundly shifted my perspective. I made it a habit to practice gratitude daily. Each morning, before even getting out of bed, I reflected on 3 things I was thankful for. Initially, these were basic things: good health, a roof over my head, and food to eat. But as time went on, I began noticing smaller, often overlooked aspects of life. A stranger's kindness, the beauty of a tree along my walk, or the stillness of a quiet night. These daily reflections transformed the way I perceived life. I realized that regardless of what I was going through, there was always something to be grateful for. Now, I want you to pause and ask yourself, how many things do you overlook each day that deserve your appreciation? To maintain an attitude of gratitude, I adopted practices that reinforced this mindset. One of them was keeping a gratitude journal. Every night before bed, I wrote down 3 new things I was thankful for that day. I found that even the smallest moments held great value. Another method I used was shifting my self-talk. Whenever I caught myself thinking negatively, I reframed my thoughts. If I was stuck in traffic, instead of becoming frustrated, I reminded myself, this gives me time to listen to my favorite podcast. Over time, it became clear to me that gratitude and the Stoic practice of acceptance go hand in hand. Acceptance does not mean giving up. Rather, it means recognizing and appreciating what is, even if we wish things were different. In this acceptance lies a profound peace, one that stems from understanding that while we cannot control everything that happens to us, we can control how we respond to it. I encourage you to cultivate a daily habit of gratitude. Start by appreciating every meal, every restful moment, and every meaningful interaction. Always keep in mind that gratitude has the power to transform not only your own life, but also the lives of those around you. The energy of appreciation radiates outward, influencing others in ways you may not even realize. Gratitude is more than just an emotion. It is a powerful force that enhances both mental well-being and overall happiness. As another great Stoic, Marcus Aurelius, once said, "The quality of our days is shaped by the gratitude we give them." So, embrace gratitude with intention, and watch as your life begins to shift in remarkable ways. I assure you, the journey is well worth it. The shift from fear to courage. Imagine standing at the edge of a towering cliff, gazing down into the abyss below. Everything inside you tells you to step back, yet there's another voice urging you forward. This is the precise moment when you must confront your fear, a moment that has the power to change everything. I've been there, not literally at the edge of a cliff, but in situations where taking a leap of faith felt just as daunting, where fear was as tangible as the wind on my face. A wise Stoic, Epictetus, once said, "It is only when we confront our fears that we uncover the deep reserves of strength within us." This thought became my guiding light whenever fear's shadow loomed over me. I learned to transform fear into courage, and I'll share how. Consider the link between fear and growth. Every time I encountered something that terrified me, I came to understand that fear was simply an opportunity for personal development. I vividly recall the first time I had to speak in front of an audience. The fear was overwhelming. Fear of making mistakes, fear of judgment. But by confronting that fear, I didn't just survive the experience. I discovered a passion for public speaking and a hidden ability to connect with people. So how do we face our fears with stoic courage? Preparation and reflection play crucial roles. Whenever fear arises, I pause and analyze it. What's the worst that could happen? How likely is it that my worst fears will actually come true? More often than not, the things we fear are not as catastrophic as we imagine. Preparing for challenging situations, even the ones I dread, has given me the confidence to act despite my fears. Another game-changing mindset is using fear as a catalyst for action rather than a barrier. I don't allow fear to hold me back. Instead, I channel it into forward momentum. This transformation isn't immediate or easy, but it's incredibly rewarding. Picture fear as coiled energy within a compressed spring. When released, it propels you forward with newfound strength. Facing fear is essential to unlocking our full potential. Had I never been afraid of failure, I wouldn't have developed new skills or unearthed hidden strengths. Each fear you conquer removes an obstacle standing between you and your greatest aspirations. Just one bold step today could set in motion an entirely new trajectory for your life. To inspire you further, let me share an example of someone who transformed fear into courage. Take Anna Torres, a young woman who overcame her fear of darkness and isolation to join a cave rescue team. Her determination didn't just help her overcome personal fears. It saved lives during a critical mission, turning fear into a tale of bravery. Now, reflect on your own fears. Recognize that each one carries an opportunity for growth, both personally and professionally. When faced with doubt or hesitation, remember, courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to act despite it. Are you ready to take the leap toward transformation? The art of letting go. I've discovered a valuable skill that has brought me greater peace and emotional freedom. The art of detachment. Imagine standing in a serene forest, simply observing as the trees sway gently in the wind. You're not trying to control the wind's direction or the sound of rustling leaves. This state of quiet observation, free from the need to grasp or alter what is the essence of detachment. Many people mistake detachment for indifference or a lack of concern, but in reality, it's about liberating ourselves from rigid expectations and predetermined outcomes. Think about how often you felt anxious or upset when things didn't go as planned. I've experienced this kind of tension countless times. But learning to live with the understanding that, despite our best efforts, the final outcome isn't always in our control has been incredibly freeing. When practiced daily, detachment becomes an exercise in acceptance. For example, during a challenging period in one of my relationships, I found myself constantly overanalyzing how my words and actions would be perceived. Over time, I realized that my focus needed to shift toward being authentic and honest rather than obsessing over others' reactions. Letting go of my need to control how I was perceived removed a significant amount of stress and ultimately strengthened my relationships in a way that felt natural and unforced. Detachment is also a core concept in Stoic philosophy. Stoics teach that peace is found by accepting what we cannot change and concentrating on our own actions and perspectives. Epictetus wisely stated, "We can only begin to find peace when we recognize the futility of clinging to things beyond our control." Adopting this mindset has given me an unshakable sense of calm and resilience. By integrating detachment into your daily life, you can cultivate a more peaceful and balanced state of mind. Let go of excessive worries about outcomes. Embrace the present moment and focus on what you can control, your thoughts, choices, and actions. In doing so, you'll find that detachment isn't about giving up. It's about gaining the clarity and freedom to live more fully. I have to handle challenges both in my professional and personal life. Let's speak plainly. Imagine yourself in a difficult situation. It could be a workplace disagreement or a personal goal that seems unreachable. In such moments, try practicing detachment. Ask yourself, what aspects of this can I control? Focus entirely on those and let go of the rest. I know this isn't simple, but if you stick with it, you'll notice a significant reduction in stress. Begin by taking small steps to integrate detachment into your daily routine. One method I've found particularly helpful is acceptance meditation. Each morning, I close my eyes for a few moments, take deep breaths, and allow myself to acknowledge all my thoughts and emotions without judgment. This practice enables me to maintain a steady mindset throughout the day. Detachment isn't about lacking passion or interest. It's about having the wisdom to avoid being consumed by things beyond our control. In the end, detachment allows us to fully engage with life, embracing reality with both strength and grace. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Master your reactions, and you have conquered your peace." Keep that in mind. Your thoughts should set you free and bring you peace, regardless of what life throws your way. The balance between desire and moderation. As I have navigated through life, I've often found myself caught between wanting something and resisting the urge to have it. Since we are all the authors of our own stories, I want you to reflect on how finding equilibrium between these two forces can lead to genuine, lasting happiness. Picture yourself standing before a grand banquet filled with endless choices. Each dish represents a desire, a goal, or a dream. At first, the temptation might be to fill your plate with everything available. But I've learned that what truly matters is not how much we accumulate, but how well we manage our choices. This realization highlights the importance of moderating our ambitions, not denying or eliminating them, but channeling them in ways that enrich our lives rather than control them. I recall an afternoon spent strolling through the city, drawn to stores brimming with the latest gadgets. As someone who enjoys new technology, my initial impulse was to buy the latest device. But I paused and asked myself, do I really need this? Will this add value to my life? Or is it just fleeting gratification? That brief moment of reflection helped me rein in my impulses, allowing me to make a mindful decision rather than acting on impulse. With each deliberate step, I felt how moderation freed me from unnecessary desires that weren't truly essential. Moderation, a core virtue in Stoic philosophy, not only prevents excess, but also cultivates resilience. Cicero wisely stated, "The poor person is not the one who has little, but the one who desires more." By practicing temperance, we gain both peace of mind and personal fulfillment. Beyond managing our resources wisely, temperance teaches us to appreciate each moment and be grateful for what we have, rather than dwelling on what we lack. From my own experience, The connection between moderation and Stoic temperance becomes most evident in challenging times. When problems mount and life feels overwhelming, temperance serves as a reminder that while we can't always control external circumstances, we can control our reactions. This inner stability enables us to persevere with composure and grace, even in the midst of life's storms. I encourage you to consider how moderation can enhance your life. Think back to the last time you exercised restraint. Perhaps you turned down a higher-paying job to prioritize time with your family. Even though the decision may have been difficult, it likely brought you greater balance and fulfillment. When faced with endless choices, remember that moderation is not about restricting yourself, but about selecting what truly enriches your well-being. This timeless wisdom still holds true today, and I urge you to embrace it to craft a life of depth and meaning. The power of small habits. Have you ever considered how seemingly insignificant daily habits can lead to profound transformations? What hidden strength lies within the simple routines we follow without much thought? Throughout life's journey, there are moments when we all feel weighed down by sorrow, as if the burdens of the world rest squarely on our shoulders. However, it's crucial to remember that we are not alone in these struggles. That's why in this video, we have carefully selected a series of uplifting and comforting lessons to support you in your emotional journey. By following these unshakable principles, you can transform your life in just 1 week. These lessons are designed to provide solace and serve as a reminder that difficult times are temporary, and within you lies an incredible reservoir of strength waiting to be awakened. Whether you're facing a personal crisis, mourning a loss, or simply in need of encouragement and motivation, let these insights guide you toward a renewed sense of hope and purpose. These lessons are here to offer encouragement, motivation, and hope. 1. Live in the present. I've come to understand that embracing the present moment is the secret to a richer, more fulfilling life. This isn't just a popular saying. It's a perspective that transforms how we experience each day. Have you ever noticed how often your thoughts drift away, whether to the past or the future, rather than being rooted in the now? Practicing mindfulness has been my guiding light on this journey. You might ask, what exactly is mindfulness? It's the ability to fully exist in the present moment, free from judgment, without being swept away by thoughts or emotions tied to what has been or what is yet to come. For me, this is reflected in life's simple pleasures. The rich aroma of morning coffee, the rhythmic sound of rain tapping against the roof, or the warmth of sunlight on my skin. Each moment is unique, and when we embrace them, we experience life more deeply. One of the most valuable lessons I've learned is the power of acceptance, acknowledging what I cannot change. In the past, I wasted so much energy dwelling on things beyond my control. But I no longer resist life's current. Instead, I accept it, releasing my emotional burdens and focusing on the aspects of my life I can influence. Another crucial lesson is directing my attention to what I can control. How often have you felt overwhelmed by challenges that seemed insurmountable? I once did too, until I realized that shifting my focus toward what I could influence made me feel empowered rather than helpless. My actions, thoughts, and emotions are within my control, and my energy is far better spent on meaningful steps forward than on fruitless worries. Consider how much time we waste worrying. How often do you dwell on past mistakes or stress over what the future might bring? I used to excel at that. I would replay past errors in my mind or anxiously anticipate tomorrow's uncertainties. But Marcus Aurelius once said, "Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you must, with the same reason you hold today." This wisdom changed my outlook. These days, I strive not to dwell on what has been or what might come, but rather to find peace in the present. Finding peace in the present does not mean that life is always easy. There are inevitable highs and lows, but what truly matters is how we choose to navigate them. Living in the now has given me an inner resilience that allows me to face difficulties with clarity and composure. Every day is an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to connect with the beauty of the world around us. Let's practice mindfulness together. Let's accept what we cannot change, focus on what we can, and release unnecessary worries about the past and future. Let's find peace in the present because, as Epictetus wisely stated, do not worry about what is outside your control. Concern yourself only with what you can change. 2. Embrace change. Life is constantly shifting, bringing new experiences, some gentle as a soft breeze, others as turbulent as a storm threatening to sweep us away. Over time, I have learned that the best way to navigate these changes is not through resistance, but by welcoming them as natural and inevitable parts of life's journey. When I was younger, I clung to things, people, and situations as if they were permanent fixtures. But I gradually realized that this mindset only led to frustration and pain. That's when I embraced the idea that everything is always evolving, and holding on to what is no longer present only drains our energy and limits our growth. Adaptability is one of the greatest strengths we can develop. I remember facing a particularly difficult time at work when my company underwent a major restructuring and many colleagues lost their jobs. Rather than succumbing to fear and uncertainty, I took charge of my situation. I learned new skills, expanded my professional network, and remained open to new opportunities. In the end, what seemed like a crisis turned into an unexpected opportunity, leading me to a promotion I never imagined possible. Change is not always negative. While it can be unsettling or painful, it also opens doors to personal and professional growth. I recall another pivotal moment in my life. A relationship I believed to be solid unexpectedly ended. At first, I felt lost, but instead of dwelling in sadness, I focused on rediscovering myself. I rekindled old passions, explored new interests, and strengthened my connections with family and friends. What initially felt like heartbreak turned into an opportunity for self-discovery and emotional resilience. At the core of navigating change is the ability to remain both flexible and strong. The Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "Life is like a river. It constantly flows and shifts its course." Our wisdom lies in learning to swim through its rough waters with grace and courage. Change is inevitable, but how we respond to it is within our power. We can either resist and suffer or adapt and grow. The choice is ours. This quote perfectly captures the essence of embracing change. Maintaining a mindset that remains open and adaptable allows me to stay composed and focused no matter what situation arises, knowing that I am capable of overcoming any obstacle. Accepting change is essential for navigating life's difficult moments. By embracing the inevitability of change, learning to adapt, and recognizing the opportunities that come with it, we cultivate resilience and flexibility, which enable us to thrive even in the toughest of times. Just like a river that constantly flows, life is always moving forward, and at times, change will come unexpectedly. Take a deep breath, remain open to new possibilities, and always remember that change is an essential part of growth. 3. Learn to practice moderation. Distinguishing between happiness and sadness or fullness and emptiness is not always simple. From an early age, I understood the importance of moderation, and over time, I realized that avoiding extremes in my emotions and actions was vital for my well-being. There was a time when I was driven entirely by impulses, relentlessly working toward my goals without pausing to appreciate the journey. My obsession with perfection in everything I did took a toll on both my health and my relationships. But eventually, I came to understand that this approach only led to exhaustion and dissatisfaction. That was when I made the decision to seek balance, avoiding both excess and deprivation. I learned to establish clear boundaries for myself, recognizing that I couldn't do everything and that it was perfectly fine to take breaks. For instance, I made a commitment to set aside time daily for relaxation, whether it was taking a walk, meditating, or simply enjoying a nourishing meal. Developing healthy habits became a priority for me. Instead of falling into destructive patterns like excessive drinking or neglecting my physical health, I chose to focus on my well-being. Exercising regularly, eating mindfully, and getting sufficient rest became integral parts of my routine, leaving me feeling more energized and focused. Saying no became a tool for self-discipline and self-confidence. Initially, it was difficult, but I learned to recognize my limits and direct my time and energy toward what truly mattered. This meant declining social invitations when I needed rest or refusing to take on more than I could handle. My mantra became finding joy in simplicity. In a world consumed by materialism and excess, I realized that true happiness lies in life's simple pleasures. A deep conversation with a loved one, the beauty of nature, or simply being fully present in the moment. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "True greatness lies in the moderation of our passions and desires." Practicing moderation has given me a clearer perspective, freeing me from unrealistic expectations and allowing me to live a more authentic and fulfilling life. 4. Cultivate virtue. Virtue is the guiding light on the path to happiness, forming the foundation upon which I build my life. Wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance are not just words. They're the principles that shape my every action and decision. I seek wisdom, the illuminating force that dispels the darkness of ignorance. In every experience, every book I read, and every meaningful conversation I have, I reflect on my actions and ask myself how I can improve, for without understanding the world and my place within it, true growth is impossible. I embrace courage, the inner fortitude that enables me to confront challenges head-on. Whenever fear arises, I face it without hesitation, knowing that true victory lies in my ability to rise after each fall. What kind of life would I lead if I chose to hide from challenges instead of meeting them with strength? Justice is at the core of my choices, ensuring that I act with fairness and respect for the dignity of others. Every injustice inflicted upon one person is a threat to us all, and I refuse to turn a blind eye to it. If I were to ignore wrongdoing, how could I ever face myself in the mirror? Temperance governs my decisions, keeping my desires in check and ensuring that I remain in control of my passions. I do not allow fleeting urges to dictate my actions. Instead, I am guided by the steady voice of reason. What would I gain by surrendering to impulsive desires at the cost of my self-discipline? Every decision I make influences my future, so I carefully reflect on my actions and their consequences. I strive to act virtuously, not because it is easy, but because it is right. Self-discipline is a commitment I make to myself, knowing that the journey toward moral excellence is filled with challenges that can only be overcome through dedication. I live by the values I wish to see in the world, for I understand that true change begins within. The philosopher Seneca once said, "Happiness is attaining virtue and living by it." I strive to embody these virtues in every word I speak, every action I take, and every step I walk because I believe that true greatness lies in living a life guided by integrity. 5. Be grateful for what you have. Life often moves at a relentless pace, making it all too easy to become consumed by the things we lack or the goals we have yet to achieve. But taking a moment to appreciate what we already have can shift our perspective and bring immense fulfillment. We often overlook the good things we already have, getting caught up in what we lack. But what if we paused for a moment to recognize the importance of gratitude? Practicing thankfulness daily is like a soothing balm for the soul. Have you ever considered how small, everyday moments improve your life? Each moment holds something to be grateful for, like the sunrise signaling a fresh start or the simple smile of a friend. Today, for example, I stopped at the park while passing through just to take in the crisp morning air and admire the vibrant flowers. In that instant, I felt immense gratitude for the beauty around me. Cultivating an abundant mindset begins with appreciating the blessings already present in your life. Think about everything you have that others might only wish for: a roof over your head, food on your table. These are gifts we often take for granted. For instance, when I arrived home today and enjoyed my meal, I took a moment to acknowledge how fortunate I am to have access to nutritious food. Shifting your focus from what you lack to what you already possess has the power to transform your entire perspective. Imagine how different your day would be if, instead of dwelling on the negatives, you concentrated on the positives. There are countless reasons to be thankful: your skills, your relationships, your experiences. While working on a project today, I chose not to complain about its difficulty, but instead recognize my strengths and the tools at my disposal. The key to daily happiness is learning to appreciate the little things. Have you ever stopped to think about how much joy exists in simple moments? The aroma of morning coffee, the gentle rhythm of rain against the roof. These fleeting experiences bring richness to life. Earlier today, I paused from reading to bask in the warmth of sunlight streaming through the window. In that peaceful moment, I felt deep gratitude. By adopting an attitude of abundance and joy, you can reshape your entire outlook on life. Consider how your perspective might shift if you focused more on what you have rather than what you lack. The love surrounding you, the opportunities that arise each day, these are sources of fulfillment. Before going to bed tonight, I reflected on all the positive moments from the day and felt truly appreciative of the life I lead. As Epictetus once said, happiness is not found in having what you want, but in wanting what you already have. At any given moment, you have the power to choose how you see the world. Will you embrace gratitude and view each experience as a gift? Imagine this. You wake up in the morning, sunlight filtering through your window, gently warming your face. Do you smile, feeling grateful for another day? Or do you fall into the routine of dwelling on what's missing instead of appreciating what you have? I used to be the latter, constantly planning ahead, setting goals, and rarely pausing to savor the present. But when I started practicing daily gratitude, everything changed. Now, before I even step out of bed, I close my eyes and think of 3 things I'm thankful for. It could be as simple as the soothing sound of rain, the comforting scent of fresh coffee, or the embrace of a loved one. At first, finding things to appreciate was a challenge, but over time, my mind became attuned to seeking out the good in every situation. This simple practice reshaped my perspective. Rather than fixating on what I didn't have, I chose to value what was already mine. It's not about conforming to external standards, but about fostering a mindset of abundance and contentment. Everything you need for happiness is already within your reach. You just have to recognize it. Once, I found myself stuck in traffic on my way to an important meeting. Instead of stressing over the delay, I chose to focus on the moment. The sky was perfectly clear, my favorite song played on the radio, and the sun's warmth felt comforting. That was when I realized being late didn't matter because I was already experiencing small moments of happiness. A leisurely walk in the park, a heartfelt conversation with a friend, or a warm cup of tea on a chilly day. These simple joys hold the key to a fulfilling life. Marcus Aurelius wisely stated, "The less you dwell on tomorrow, the more time you have to enjoy today." Today, I challenge you to take this to heart. Each morning, take a moment to reflect on the positive aspects of your life. Shift your focus from what you lack to what you already have, and learn to appreciate the little things because they bring beauty to life. 7th, confront your fears. Face them head on and push past your limitations. The first step toward emotional freedom is identifying the fears that hold us back. I can say this from experience. I still vividly remember the day I realized that my fear of public speaking was preventing me from advancing in my career. Every time I stood in front of an audience, it felt like a heavy weight was pressing down on me. But I made the choice not to let that fear control me. Gathering the courage to take action was difficult, but it also became an opportunity for growth. I decided to tackle my fear gradually, starting with small groups and then increasing the audience size until I could confidently speak to larger crowds. Each time I stepped forward, my confidence grew. Being courageous doesn't mean you're never afraid. It means moving forward despite fear. A crucial part of my journey was shifting my mindset. Instead of focusing on what might go wrong, I envision success. I picture myself standing tall, speaking with confidence, and delivering a powerful message. I imagine the audience's applause and the sense of accomplishment that would follow. This mental exercise helped me channel my energy toward achieving my goals. Embracing risk was an essential part of personal growth. I understood that progress often involves uncertainty, and taking chances is what leads to real transformation. As Seneca once said, the greatest obstacle for man is the fear of himself. If you have the courage to confront your fears, you'll discover just how capable you truly are. Every time I overcame a fear, I felt stronger and more prepared for future challenges. No longer was I shackled by fear. Instead, I used it as a driving force to propel me toward my goals. That's why I urge you to face your fears with determination and bravery. Identify what's holding you back, build up the courage to take action, visualize your success, embrace risk, and find strength in your journey. Always remember that beyond every fear lies true freedom and personal growth. Eighth, engage in self-reflection. In today's fast-paced world, we rarely take the time to examine who we truly are. But what if you pause for a moment to explore the fascinating realm of self-awareness? Let me guide you through this journey of introspection, where looking inward can lead to profound transformation. Each day, I set aside time to immerse myself in thought. Whenever there's silence, I reflect deeply, trying to understand my motivations. I carefully observe how I respond to different situations to identify my strengths and weaknesses. This daily practice of self-reflection has become a sacred ritual that keeps me aligned with my true self. As I reflect on my thoughts, words, and actions, I become more aware of their impact, both on my life and on those around me. How do my thoughts shape my emotions? How do my words influence others? Do my actions align with my values and aspirations? These are the questions that help me grow and deepen my understanding of myself. On my path to self-improvement, mistakes are inevitable. However, rather than dwelling on them, I view them as opportunities to learn. Each misstep teaches me valuable lessons that guide me toward better decisions and a deeper awareness of both myself and the world around me. Setting clear goals is a vital part of my self-improvement journey. Each objective I define serves as a guiding light, helping me make choices that align with my aspirations. But setting goals alone isn't enough. I must regularly assess my progress to ensure I'm moving in the right direction. Am I making strides toward my ambitions? How can I adjust my approach to keep advancing? These self-inquiries help me stay on track with my personal growth. Maintaining an honest relationship with myself is crucial for my mental and spiritual well-being. I commit to facing the truth, even when it's difficult to accept. I acknowledge my flaws and limitations while also celebrating my strengths and achievements. This honesty allows me to fully embrace myself, fostering a deep sense of inner peace. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "The wise man is the one who knows himself." For me, self-reflection is a trusted companion on my journey to wisdom and authenticity. It helps me understand who I truly am and who I aspire to be. Ninth, practice kindness toward yourself and others. One of the most valuable lessons I've learned is the significance of compassion, not just for others, but for myself as well. This principle, rooted in empathy, extends beyond simple human interactions and becomes a fundamental aspect of how we connect with the world around us. When we show kindness and understanding to others, it's like planting seeds of goodwill in the garden of our relationships. I recall a time when a close friend was struggling. Rather than offering quick solutions or judgments, I chose to listen attentively and provide unwavering support. I didn't criticize him or point out his mistakes. Instead, I focused on understanding what he was going through and simply being there for him. That one small act of empathy strengthened our bond and made him feel accepted and understood. However, we can't truly understand others until we learn to forgive ourselves for our own flaws and mistakes. We all make errors, It's part of being human. When we acknowledge our shortcomings and allow ourselves forgiveness, we release ourselves from resentment and open the door to growth and change. I recall a time when I made a mistake at work that had significant consequences. Rather than dwelling on self-blame and criticism, I chose to forgive myself, learn from the experience, and move forward with even greater determination. The ability to forgive ourselves grows when we recognize that everyone is fundamentally human. We all experience similar emotions, struggles, and challenges. Understanding this commonality fosters deeper empathy and compassion in our relationships. When we realize that each person is facing their own internal battles, we can connect with others on a level of mutual understanding and support. Developing compassion and empathy extends beyond just caring for those closest to us. It also involves offering kindness and support to those in need, even if they're strangers. I remember passing a stranger on the street who seemed to be going through a tough time. Instead of simply walking by, I took a moment to offer a few kind words of encouragement. Though our conversation was brief, I hoped it was enough to remind him that he wasn't alone in his struggles. Showing kindness to yourself and others is an expression of true humanity. The best revenge is to be unlike your enemy, as Marcus Aurelius once said. When we practice compassion, we not only deepen our connections with others, but also become more aligned with our true nature, one rooted in kindness and understanding. So, show compassion to yourself and those around you, and witness how empathy can transform your life. 10. Find your purpose. Discovering your purpose is like uncovering life's most precious treasure. Let me take you on a journey of self-exploration as we examine your unique values, passions, and skills to carve a meaningful path forward. Have you ever taken the time to reflect on your core values? These values serve as the foundation for your choices and actions. When I discovered mine, it was like turning on a light in the darkness. I once had to choose between a path that offered financial stability but conflicted with my morals, or one that was uncertain but aligned with my true beliefs. I chose the latter, and I have never regretted it. Living in harmony with your values creates an unparalleled sense of fulfillment. Now let's talk about passion. What truly excites you? What activities make you feel alive and energized? Writing has always been a deep passion of mine. Ever since childhood, I've lost track of time while reading and writing. Recognizing what I loved doing led me to my purpose. When you engage in something you're passionate about, you feel like you're on the right path. But passion alone isn't enough. Your unique skills and strengths play a vital role in shaping your purpose. Each of us possesses natural abilities that are waiting to be discovered. I still remember the moment I realized that I had a gift for connecting with people and helping them work through their challenges. This skill became an essential part of my purpose, as I could use it to make a positive impact on others' lives. Setting goals that align with your purpose acts as a roadmap for achieving your aspirations. What do you want to accomplish in life? Why do these passions drive you? What skills and values can help you get there? For me, establishing clear, specific goals has allowed me to steadily progress toward my dreams. Every small action brings me one step closer to living a meaningful life. Since we're discussing purpose, have you found meaning in your relationships and work? It's easy to get caught up in routine and lose sight of what truly matters. However, discovering meaning in your connections and daily activities turns each day into an opportunity for growth and fulfillment. I vividly remember the day I found a career that not only provided financial stability, but also allowed me to make a difference in the world. That feeling of purpose and contentment made every single day worthwhile. Ultimately, the secret to living a full and happy life lies in approaching each day with a sense of direction and purpose. It's not just about reaching your goals. It's about enjoying the journey and finding joy at every turn. The purpose of life is a life of purpose, said Cicero. Discovering your purpose is an exciting process of getting to know yourself better. Take time to reflect on your values, identify your passions, and recognize your strengths. Set clear goals, find meaning in your actions, and live every day with intention. Your life needs meaning and direction, and you have the power to give it that. 11. Learn to stop caring about what others think. In a world where opinions are constantly being voiced, learning to tune them out is a vital skill for maintaining emotional stability. Through my own journey, I have realized that the most important thing is not allowing others' opinions to dictate my self-worth. My value does not depend on whether others approve of me or not. It is an intrinsic treasure, a gem that shines regardless of what others say or do. I trust my own judgment. It serves as a lighthouse guiding me through the fog of external opinions. This trust gives me confidence and security in life. Constructive criticism, when given with good intent, is like a polish that helps me grow, but negative comments from others have no power over me. Why should I allow the negativity of others to disrupt my inner peace? While I welcome feedback that helps me improve, I refuse to be brought down by words meant to harm. I have learned to detach myself from the need for approval. I don't chase after it like a traveler seeking water in the desert. Instead, I draw from an internal well of self-love and acceptance that never runs dry. Why depend on constant praise from others when I can cultivate confidence and contentment within myself? My worth is not determined by what others say, nor by their admiration or criticism. It stems from a unique combination of qualities and virtues that define who I am. Aristotle once said, "The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts." By freeing myself from the weight of external judgment, I stand firm in my beliefs, embracing constructive criticism while filtering out negativity. I have worked on detaching myself from the need for validation and finding my worth beyond the noise of the world. On this path of self-discovery, I am the captain of my own ship, navigating towards authenticity and inner peace. 12. Find joy in silence. In the midst of life's constant noise and activity, the ability to embrace silence is a treasure that often goes unnoticed. In a world that never stops buzzing, how do we learn to appreciate silence? The answer lies in consciously making time for stillness and reflection. I recall an afternoon when I deliberately escaped the chaos of the city. I left behind the endless noise and wandered into a nearby forest. There, surrounded by nothing but the sound of birds and the rustling leaves, I found true tranquility. At first, my mind resisted, accustomed to constant stimulation. But as I let go of distractions and surrendered to the silence, I began to hear my inner voice more clearly. Meditation is a powerful tool for strengthening this connection with oneself. By focusing on the breath and allowing thoughts to pass without attachment, we learn to be present without external stimuli. In stillness, our minds become clearer, and the answers we seek often reveal themselves. As the Stoics taught, silence is a loyal companion, one that remains with us through every moment. It is in silence that we step away from the external world and find serenity within. However, embracing silence is not just about turning off electronics or finding quiet places. It is a way of life. It is about cultivating a sense of calm, even amid chaos. I remember another moment when, instead of running from the noise, I chose to embrace it. Sitting alone with a coffee in a busy cafe, I allowed the sounds of conversation around me to exist without overwhelming me. In that moment, I realized that silence is not always about the absence of sound. It is the ability to find peace within it. The key is learning to filter out external distractions, both mentally and physically. Often, the most disruptive noise is the internal chatter of our own thoughts. By observing these thoughts without becoming attached to them, we can access a stillness that remains constant, even in the midst of turmoil. Give yourself the gift of quiet reflection. Take the time to listen to your inner voice and connect with yourself in silence. Whether you're in nature, practicing meditation, or simply moving through your daily life, you can cultivate a deep sense of peace and clarity. In silence, you can strengthen your connection with yourself and the world around you. 13. Be disciplined with yourself. Self-discipline is your greatest ally on the path to success. I say this from personal experience. Do you want to achieve your goals? Then be prepared to develop habits and routines that will keep you moving forward. It may seem difficult in the beginning, but think of it this way. You are constructing a bridge to your dreams, and each consistent step you take brings you one step closer. I recall the day I committed to learning a new language. I dedicated time each morning before starting my day, setting aside at least an hour to study. At first, it felt like I was making no progress at all. After a week, I barely noticed any improvement, but over time, the changes became clear. I didn't give up because I understood that every small effort added up and brought me closer to my goal. Eventually, I started to see the results. I could communicate and understand people much better. The long-term benefits far outweighed any short-term frustration. It's natural to want to procrastinate, to give in to laziness, but self-discipline means confronting those obstacles head-on with determination and focus. I remember working on an important project when the temptation to delay, it crept in. I could do it tomorrow, I told myself. But then I remember my commitment and my dedication to my goals, and I pushed through, staying resolute. Willpower is like a muscle. It strengthens the more you use it. Think back to the last time you committed to losing weight. At first, resisting the temptation of sweets or fast food felt impossible. But every time you consciously resisted, your willpower grew, making it easier to say no in the future. Strengthening this discipline is crucial for maintaining self-control in all aspects of life. Mastering yourself brings the greatest sense of fulfillment, the ability to control your impulses and stick to your habits, even when distractions arise, gives you an immense sense of accomplishment. As Epictetus said, "No man is free unless he is master of himself." When you take charge of your will, you take control of your life. So, never underestimate the power of self-discipline. Establish routines, overcome procrastination, build your willpower, and embrace the fulfillment that comes with self-mastery. Every step you take toward greater discipline brings you closer to becoming the person you aspire to be. 14. Be honest in your life. As I navigate life, one guiding principle serves as my constant beacon: integrity. It's not just a word I throw around. It's a philosophy that shapes every decision I make. Without integrity, how can we stay on the right path? Living an honest life isn't merely about following societal rules or conforming to imposed norms. It's a commitment to myself, to my deepest beliefs and values. If my moral compass doesn't consistently point toward truth and righteousness, how can I hope to withstand life's turbulent moments? Staying true to my principles is like anchoring my ship to solid ground, even when storms threaten to pull me off course. I recall a time at work when I faced a difficult decision. A colleague suggested a shortcut that could have benefited me, but was ethically wrong. In that moment, I had to remind myself of the importance of honesty. I chose the harder, more honest path. Though it was a challenge, I could hold my head high, knowing I hadn't compromised my values for fleeting gain. Honesty and sincerity shape the way I interact with others. Whether with friends, family, or colleagues, I speak openly, telling the truth without sugarcoating or exaggeration. This sincerity helps me build genuine connections and earn the trust and respect of those around me. There have been times when facing the consequences of my actions was difficult, but honesty has always helped me preserve my character. I remember making a mistake at work, and instead of covering it up, I admitted it and took steps to correct it. Choosing to be truthful, even when it's inconvenient, is like safeguarding a precious treasure in a world full of deception and temptation. Though it's not always easy to uphold my values, I remind myself of Epictetus' words: "Integrity is the first virtue of a wise man." This belief gives me the strength to resist temptation and do what I know is right. The best protection for my honor is ensuring my words and actions align. I cannot claim one thing and then do another. Living with transparency is like writing my life story. Each action adds to the narrative of who I am. I remember promising a friend that I would help with an important project, but kept postponing it again and again. That experience reminded me that honesty isn't just about telling the truth. It's about following through on commitments and ensuring that my actions reflect my words. I came to realize that my actions weren't aligning with my words, so I quickly adjusted my behavior to ensure I remained true to my character. Honesty isn't just a decision. It's a commitment we make to ourselves and those around us every single day. By staying true to my principles, being sincere in all my interactions, and never compromising my integrity for convenience or personal gain, I earn the trust and respect of others. At the end of the day, when I look at myself in the mirror, I can stand tall knowing I have lived with integrity and contributed to making the world a better place. Learn to accept what will happen. Life often feels like an uncontrollable storm of events, a relentless current sweeping everything in its path. Amidst this chaos, one of the most valuable lessons I've learned is the art of acceptance. Rooted in Stoic wisdom, accepting fate is about understanding that some things are beyond our control and embracing them without resistance. I grasped the significance of this principle during one of the most difficult moments of my life. I had poured my heart into a project, convinced it would be my greatest achievement. Yet, just as I was nearing completion, unforeseen circumstances derailed everything. Instead of letting frustration and disappointment consume me, I chose to embrace the Stoic mindset and accept what had unfolded. Initially, I wrestled with anger and disappointment, but over time, I found peace in the realization that not everything was meant to go as planned. Rather than resisting the changes, I learned to flow with them, allowing myself to adapt to the new reality. A Stoic quote that deeply resonated with me during that time was, "In the acceptance of fate lies true freedom." This became my mantra, a guiding principle that helped me cultivate a sense of calm and resilience. Accepting fate doesn't mean passively surrendering or resigning to whatever happens. Instead, it's about adapting with grace, finding strength within, and facing even the toughest challenges with a composed and determined spirit. When my project fell apart, I chose to view it not as a failure, but as an opportunity for growth. Rather than dwelling on what went wrong, I allowed myself to adjust, searching for new doors that had opened because of this unexpected turn of events. Ultimately, this willingness to accept and adapt led me to paths I never would have discovered otherwise. By learning to embrace fate, we can find tranquility in the midst of turmoil, adjust to life's uncertainties, and tackle challenges with unwavering resilience. As Seneca wisely said, "We cannot choose our circumstances, but we can choose how we respond to them." If you accept what comes your way, adapt to it, and move forward with intention, you'll discover a newfound strength that will guide you through life's toughest moments.